Just when I thought Donald Trump could not confolulate this country anymore, every single fucking day he just seems to amaze me with how he is pitting himself against farmers and ranchers. I've been losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on the farming side of my operation, and the only thing keeping me afloat is these goddamn cattle prices. And now he has declared war against the fucking ranchers. First he fucks every single farmer in America, and now he is fucking the ranchers. All this is to try to combat and bring down beef prices, which is going to fucking break and ruin every hard-working rancher out there.
This is my 39th crop. I started in 1986, the year I graduated high school. I could plant an acre of beans in 1986 for 30 bucks. It irritates me that you don't have the guts to acknowledge that the people do not pay the tariffs. I don't care if it's John Deere, Case, Caterpillar, all that stuff is outsourced overseas. And the guy that pays it is the guy that purchased it. I can buy a bearing for a combine and it's made in Taiwan or who knows where. Parts have over doubled in the last year, if you can get them. The dealer at Marshall has a backlog for almost 4 months because they can't get parts because of Trump's stupid tariffs. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs, more so the tariffs than the trade.
Let me tell you a little story about why.
THETRUEREACT. Real talk, raw truth. To our new viewers, welcome on board the chaos. We appreciate your likes, comments, and staying till the end. So stick around because today we are heading deep into rural America, into bands, farmland, and communities now struggling to survive. Farmers who once stood firmly behind Donald Trump are now speaking out, and they are saying in heartbreaking, shocking, and brutally honest. These are their stories. For generations, this field fed families, fed entire town, but today, these same lands are becoming symbols of crisis, rising costs, shrinking subsidies, collapsing markets, and farmers who believed they were voting for economic protections now feels abandoned. Alright, let's get into it, because you are about to hear directly from the people living this nightmare, people who trusted Trump to protect their livelihood, but instead they say the system and the man they believed in left them behind.
Hey there, it's day 34 and this is Juju, and today I'd like to talk about farm workers. So here I'm in Watsonville on my way to Soledad Prison to do empathy in action, and you can see in the distance here the farm workers hard at work here in the field. I guess I can't get that, but I just want to talk about the support, the way that the media and certain people in our government are talking about immigrants, and particularly from, Mexico, Hispanic, immigrants. And these are some of the most hard-working people. This is back-breaking work. I've gone to a farm workers tour. There's a wonderful nonprofit called Farm Workers Family, Farm Worker Families. And I've gone on one of their farm workers tours and seen what it's like to have to try to pick strawberries, the conditions that they live in. Our immigration system is broken, absolutely. But we need to give this, because right now these people are working under slave conditions, always afraid to that they're, the threat of being undocumented in this country. And so this is the agricultural area, and everyone is like, if you want to try deporting people, You know, who do you think is going to come out here and do this backbreaking work? You know, so I just want to say how important immigrants and farm workers are certainly to this area of California, and I send them my love and respect. And again, check out the Center for Farm Workers Family. It's a wonderful organization. So this is Juju, unscripted, unedited, unfiltered, coming from the fields of Watsonville, and lead with love.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
We made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so fucked, and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world other than, well, they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it, blowing it on the fucking ground because it's fucking useless, it's valueless, there's nothing I can fucking do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through this fucking crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a splorn crop like this, guys. And this is just fucking heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm gonna survive. You know, Trump said he fucking loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my splorn crop all over the ground. Hopefully he works a deal out where Antarctica and Mars will start buying this splorn and save the farmers. I'm sorry, splorn crop, but you're fucked.
This is the first time in my life farming that I still have crop in my bins that I can't sell. Basically what we're getting out, a bushel of corn or a bushel of rice, would be like you making $5 an hour and trying to pay your bills at home. Mexico and China are the two biggest rice buyers for the United. They buy more rice off of us than anyone, and when they stop buying rice, we have nowhere to go with the rice. It won't be a trickle down effect. It will be like flushing a toilet if the ag industry collapses. Totally 100% dependent upon the Lord Jesus Christ. I surrender it to Him.
American workers and American taxpayers have been taken advantage of for multi-generation, for decades. And it's time for somebody to stand up and put us first and put the country first and do what's best for the country, not what's best for the politicians.
Even if you as a farmer suffer.
That's right.
I mean, some people would hear that and be quite surprised that you're prepared to put your livelihood, your family's livelihood, on the line for the sake of politics.
Well, that's my duty as for being the head of my household. I've got to do what I got to do, what's going to be better for the future, better for the kids. It's not about today, it's about the long term. The long game is where the rewards are going to be.
But don't the price of tariffs and what happens in commodity markets like soybean, doesn't that affect you in the short term and affect your ability to provide for your family?
Look, tariffs will probably have a detrimental effect on soybean price in the near future. In the long term, it'll probably work out. I'm a farmer. I deal with bad weather. I deal with dry weather. I deal with torrential rains. We deal with hurricanes. What's a tariff going to do? You know, I got to raise a crop. If I was worried, I'd stay home and not raise a crop. If I was worried about it, I still got to get out there and raise my crop to get the price. If you don't get the yield, it doesn't make any difference. You know, I got to deal with all these other things. What's a tariff? I can't control that, so it is what it is.
Well, my friends, our farmers are in full-blown crisis, and it's not because of Mother Nature. It's because of Donald Trump's reckless tariffs that have torched decades of trade relationships and handed America's agriculture future to China and Brazil on a silver platter. 12,000 tons of pork canceled. Soybean exports collapsed, and family farms are now shutting down, and it doesn't stop there. Longshoremen, truckers, warehouse workers, entire communities are being gutted. This didn't have to happen, but Trump wanted a trade war. He wanted headlines, and now our farmers are paying the price while China laughs its way to the Brazilian soybean fields. And to make it worse, farmers who sign contracts with their own government, they're being stiffed, left holding the bag. So let me be clear. I will fight like hell to rebuild our rural economy, restore fair trade, and make sure American farmers never again become pawns in a MAGA publicity stunt. This district deserves better. America deserves better. Are you ready to fight back?
There's a major outcry going on in the US farming industry right now because so many farms are struggling. And I've seen videos this afternoon from Arkansas, for example, where farmers have got together and they're asking Trump for social assistance. They're saying, hey, help us out. But this is the policies that they voted for. They voted for mass deportations. And now it's going south on them big time. So what do these guys expect? You know? And now they're asking for money because their farms are going out of business. They said their markets have been taken away from them. They said they don't have enough labor to pick the crops. And as a result of that, their farms are dying. And so is the livelihood. But these are guys, especially in Arkansas, who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump and his policies. And now they're asking for handouts. Sorry, folks. No sympathy from me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
So I'm a blue dot in a red state, and I am worried about our farmers. I own a farm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I have lots of neighbors that are farmers. So when I found out that our Department of Agriculture just furloughed and suspended 42,000 employees from their department, that's half of the agency. That really hurts our farmers. It puts a halt on new farm loans that they need. It delays their disaster payments that they're expecting. And they're supposed to be getting these really vital crop reports so that they can plan for next year, and they're not getting those because of this government shutdown and discharging half of the Department of Agriculture. And don't get me started on our soybean farmers. They are really hit hard. Some of them are having to take out high interest bank loans just to survive this uncertainty. And now at the same freaking time, 94 million pounds of food that is produced by the U.S. to provide food relief to our country's citizens, okay? Food banks and community programs nationwide. This current administration just canceled that. They're not doing that this year. People are going hungry. And these farmers produce this food for that program. Shouldn't we be feeding the hungry? And then also caring for those farmers who work effortlessly to produce all this food? It bothers me so much that this administration calls themselves Christian, but don't act like it. What farmers do is holy work. They are feeding our country. So this is not just going to be an economic problem. This is an ethical problem. Whether you're outraged by this because of your faith, because Jesus said to feed the poor, or because of your conscience, or just simple decency, we have to protect our farmers and we have to feed our people. And empathy should not be partisan. It is actually the backbone of a healthy democracy. And that helps your family, my family, and impoverished families all over our country. So we should all be caring about this.
Arkansas farmers are taking their own lives because of what's happening to their farms because of Trump's policies. And it's only going to get worse for farmers because this is all laid out in Project 2025. So in Project 2025, the plan is to roll back all of the protections that farmers currently have access to. Basically, there's different programs. There's insurance, crop insurance. There's these commodities programs. And most of these are either subsidized or paid for by the government. So farmers, if a small farm gets hit with, a weather disaster or something else happens where they can't profit off their crop like they usually do, they're backed up. They're safe. They can, float for another year because of these programs. They want to get rid of these programs. They want to take the burden of these programs off the government and put it back onto the farmers, meaning these small farms get hit with one disaster and they're fucked. They're done. Guess who won't be done, though, if they get hit with one disaster? Giant mega corporations, these huge corporate farms that have all the capital they need to float if they get hit with a disaster. They're not going to go under. What they're going to do is buy up all these little farms and consolidate them into these giant mega farms. That's what the plan is. And I know it's easy to be like, oh, fuck these farmers. They voted for this. This is what they get. But this isn't good for any of us if this happens. I know like the FAFO is delightful, but it isn't good for any of us. And it's scary. Like these are the people that feed us, that provide our food, and we need them. And it's horrifying to see what they're trying to do to them.
Let's talk about numbers. Input costs skyrocketed, subsidies were slashed or delayed, markets became unsustainable, and farmers who already operate on a razor-thin margins were left to carry the burdens alone. Many are now drowning in debt, selling off land, losing farms that have been in their families for 50, even 100 years. And here's the most shocking part. Many of these farmers still feel ignored. Their communities rarely make the headlines. Their struggles barely register in Washington. And the man they thought would fight for them, they say he fought for someone else. This isn't about left or right. This isn't about blue states or red states. This is about Americans' real people being crushed by a system that promised them the world but delivered nothing. And their message today is clear. They feel betrayed, they feel unheard, and they are demanding answers. If you believe these stories deserve to be heard, hit that like, drop a comment, and make sure you subscribe to The True React, because here we don't hide the truth, we expose it. See you in the next one.